Hi everyone. So we are in week 1 and I thought this would be a great time to introduce one of the fun challenges that we're going to be working on throughout camp if you want to. And it's called Listers Got a List. For people who have been following me in the Reset community for a while, you may be familiar with that name. We introduced Listers Got a List about 3 years ago and it was really fun. It was one of the most really viral things I ever did on Instagram. There were like hundreds and hundreds of people that were constantly tagging me and just so excited about Listers Got a List when it debuted. And I think the first month, the first time we ever launched it, it actually got downloaded 27,000 times in 120 countries around the world. Wow. So we kind of retired it temporarily last year just to kind of let it simmer down, and we've decided to bring it back up again. So we're going to go ahead and launch it again October 1st, and it will be the premier challenge in the Happy Place Club. And we thought that it would be a great time to kind of give you like a peek of Listers Got a List during Camp Reset. So we included all these pages in your handbook to do listers, and you also get in your printable pack, you also get 40 of the prompts. So for those of you who are not familiar with listers, I thought what I would do is just do a little demonstration. So I know that my audience is very crafty, typically, but I know quite a few of you might have been talked into doing Camp Reset by a friend. And I know that I've personally invited a lot of people who aren't necessarily part of this really creative community. So I wanted to show you how approachable Listers is. And one of the things that makes it special to me is that it's such a simple way of doing some memory keeping. I think when you ask people to do like journaling, it can feel very daunting. I don't know if I have enough to fill up a page. You know, I don't know what I would really say. Some people, you just get kind of like frozen, and I don't know how to really capture a memory. And that's what's really great about listers, because most of us by nature are listers. We just love making a list. It's the first thing we think of when we think of planning or goal setting or organizing something. In the way that typical planner girl mindset works is we usually it starts with a list. I swear that's going to be one of my trademark taglines, but it does start with a list, with listers. And what you're going to be doing is answering each of these prompts with a simple list. And the way I designed the pages in the handbook was so that you could keep it very simple. Because we're going to be doing so many different like creative challenges. You have the self-care bingo, the bucket list, art journaling, listers. I didn't want you to feel all this pressure to get it all done. So you can either do listers and just keep it real simple and just respond with the list, or you can add a few embellishments, or you can go crazy. So I thought I would kind of demonstrate the 3 stages of listing so that, you know, even if you don't consider yourself a super crafty person, you can just take a pen and respond with these. And, you know, we made these cute little prompts and everything, but if you don't feel like printing them out or don't have the resources to print them out, you can simply open the document. I think even on mobile, you're able to open a PDF for the most part, and you can simply copy the prompts down onto the pages. And in that way, you can just respond with your list. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in and start getting my listing on. Okay, so we're going to dive into our Listers Got a List pages in our handbook. And we're going to go ahead and start with our very first space here. So the way I designed the pages is you have different quadrants here to kind of build a list. So you would actually be building 4 lists on one page. Now, you don't have to do it that way. If you want to get a little crazy, you can add scrapbook paper and kind of cover one column and just do less lists, but do longer lists. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on lists that I want to go more creative and do a lot more crafting with. So let's talk about, with this first page that we're going to work on, let's discuss, first we have the prompts, and these came from the printables folder. And then I wanted to show you also the other like decorating elements that you can use for your listing. And you can obviously use this throughout your book, but these have been included in your pack also for listing. So you have all these fun like big word strips right here. Then you have the fun little florals, and then you have your paper punch buffet sheet. So you've got some clouds, the circles, the small banners, and the large banners. These are all the classic shapes that we use in the paper punch buffet. All of the punches that that these shapes are based on are all listed in our supplies list page. And then you have these are the type of printables that you can just kind of, we call it fussy cutting, when you use your scissors to cut. And with fussy cutting, I tend to go with like the really small, pointy, like scissors that can get like more into it, like a little sharp space. What I love about fussy cutting is it's just super relaxing. So that's those printables. And then you have some journal cards here that you can also like cut out with scissors or use a paper trimmer. And these would be used to fill in the space. If you didn't want to just use the lined sheet, you could use a journal card, and I can demonstrate that too. So some journal cards like this one are designed for like a pocket page where you wouldn't necessarily journal on it. And then some are meant, you know, just adding a simple embellishment. So the ones with more white space are the ones that would be good for listing. So these are kind of like if you just wanted to cover a space because you didn't want to do like a complete listing page. And I'll just give you an example. Sometimes some prompts speak to you more than others, and if that's the case, then you can, rather than have this empty hole in your page, you can cover up the lines with a journal card. So there's always that option, and then you could fill in lists on the others. So I'm going to put that to the side as a possible option to do that with. And then I wanted to demonstrate, I'm trying to get the packaging open. I wanted to demonstrate my new punch. I love this thing so much. It was love at first sight when I saw it. This is what we're going to be doing all of our prompts with going forward. They'll be in this ticket little shape so that you can use this specific punch to punch them out. So I'm going to be using this punch, and it's from EK Tools. It's also on the supplies list page, and as you can see, it's the shape of a ticket. So that makes it really easy for getting your prompts done. And the best way to do this, now these are numbered, so they are 1, 2, 3, like going across. So as you do your prompts each week, you're doing them in numerical order. So on day 1, you would do your your number 1 prompt. And I flip the punch over so that you can see it in the little window. And the very first prompt says, what self-care means to me. And you'll notice here on the page that we've put a little dotted line to demonstrate where that little punch prompt would go. So right there. So you're going to want to use some kind of adhesive like glue stick or a little bit of, I'm having a hard time thinking of the word. What am I trying to say? This stuff, the little adhesive tape. Okay, get it together, Corey. Okay, so we are going to add our little prompt there. So what self-care means to me. And we numbered these just so you knew what order they are in, but this isn't like the true Listers Got a List challenge where you are doing like day 1, prompt 1, day 2, prompt 2. You can just do this as a fun little challenge throughout your Camp Reset time. This is just for you. Every Tuesday in the group, there will be a post in the community center for you to share your listers pages with. So whatever you've gotten done from one Tuesday to the next, you can share your progress. So isn't that cute? Simple and cute. So right here is just, I want to show you, like, this is as simple as it could be, is just attaching the prompt. And let me just quickly show you, if you don't have the punch, don't want the punch, just don't want to be bothered with buying a punch, I'm just going to show you that you could cut these out. I'm going to actually switch to my readers so I can see better. Oh, I love getting older. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and trim that up. You're trimming off all the little white spots. And then you come to this point where you have these little white corners and the edge of the little punch ticket thing there. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use a single hole punch and trim away that white part. So if you don't want to purchase another punch, because some of us have enough, that is another option of doing it. Or you can simply just cut it out, you know, just kind of like we were talking about earlier, doing the little fussy cutting and trimming out each little circle. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this while I have it and I don't lose it. So that's 1 and 2. So at this point, you can go ahead. There's 2 different ways of looking at listers. I tended to decorate. I love embellishing and decorating. So sometimes I felt like what was kind of fun was just sitting here, putting the prompts down, and then embellishing the pages with, like, you know, stickers and the fun crafting bits, but I didn't necessarily do my list right away. So another idea is to sit here and just fill all the lists out and then go back over them all and decorate. That's also an option, and probably the one that somehow when you get like in a mode of doing the same thing over and over again, it makes it easier to do the task. So if I just sit here and spend time answering each prompt, I feel like I could get through it faster than if I sat there and just did one per day, or one once in a while. So this time I'm just going to cut my little tickety shape out rather than punch. And okay, so there we go. Now I have all 4 done, and then I would just sit here and fill out all of the lists. So this is like this super, I guess, easy. The easy way of doing it is just responding with a list. And you can even number your list, like what self-care means to me. And of course, I would grab the 1 pen. Here we go. 4, 5, 6. That little flamingo pen is retired. He's given up his ink. I ran it dry. Okay, so I have 12. I'm just going to make up 12 answers to what self-care means to you. So you actually have 14 spots, because this one counts. I just dropped it down and I didn't use this one. So there's actually 14 lines for each thing. So if you have a lot to say about a particular topic, you might want to consider just using like half of your page for a single list. I'm going to demonstrate what you can do. You can add sheets into this as well. You don't have to just use this. For instance, like I bought a pack of this paper at Office Depot. It's the Tool brand, and it's a dot grid, which is very much like what we use in our TN inserts, our Traveler Notebook inserts. So you could add pages to your workbook, which is like your more than welcome to do so, and something I highly encourage. And I didn't mean to call it a workbook. I meant to call it the handbook. I was calling it a workbook for a really long time, and finally one day I realized I don't want these women to look at this as work. I don't want them to think of self-care as work. So I tried to get it out of my vocabulary, but I noticed that it slips in every now and then. It's a handbook, girls. Okay, so on this side I have the grid, and on this side I have the printed paper. So you can just add smaller sheets. You know, if you have punched disc bound that's even smaller than that. Let me give you an example. Okay, so I have some paper here. I'm not sure if they sell it this way any longer. I bought this a really long time ago, but this is Yellow Paper House, and it's their small grid, and it's not punched in any way. So I just thought it would be handy to have for, you know, multiple reasons. And we're looking at it right now. Something like this. So you could add a full sheet to your pages, so you can add more and like do a whole list like down like 2 spots. You could do 2 lists, one on either side if you had a lot of listing to do. You could make a single page and just add 1 list to it because you really love creating that way. Or you could add the smaller, this is like an A5 size sheet, and you could just add and make a list on your little single page like this if you wanted to. So, and you don't even have to use like this type of paper. You could even get even more crazy and add like another type of paper. This is like a page from a book. You could punch that and then add this in here and list on it. So you could just kind of like a modified junk journal in a way if you wanted to. You can use other things and embellish the handbook and just add to them. If you are going disc bound, you just need to punch it and add it. And if you are using a 3-ring binder, you do the same thing as just punch it and get it into your book. So let me go ahead and then show you here. If I was keeping it simple, I would just be doing a list for all of these things. And this is probably something I want to sit down and think about and not just do on camera. But I wanted to show you the next level, which is getting more embellishy with it, I guess I would say. So that would be like adding stickers, adding stamping, washi, just taking it to the next level than just making your list. And you can totally do that before you ever write anything down. You can add paint to your pages. It's completely like, this is all about like having recess, you know, and all you have to do is make a list, but you can have a lot of fun decorating the pages first. So I'm going to start layering up some washi on the page. I love roller stamps. Roller stamps are so fun. They are totally designed, in my opinion, to be imperfect. Like, it's just so hard to get a good roller stamp. And on some of the pages in this book, I actually put that kind of stamping effect on the pages already. I believe, maybe not in this section, but you'll notice, I think it's in the weekly pages, you'll notice that there's a little bit of like stamping here and there, and that was me. That was me adding that little effect because I personally love it so much, so I felt like you guys should have it too. So I'm just going to have fun adding some extra embellishments. You can add some stickers. Oop. That went down uneven, but I'm not even going to fix it. So the first question here on the page says what self-care means to me. So I'm putting my main answer right here in stickers. And these are little alpha stickers that I wish that they still made, but they're October Afternoon, which is a company that is no more. So I'll have to probably make my own stickers. It's hard to find good alpha stickers where you get enough letters. So I'm gonna, since I'm running out of room here, bad planning, bad space planning, I'm just gonna put loving me. That's what self-care is. It's loving me. Stickers are really, to me, a real easy button when it comes to decorating. They should be it's a really simple way to do something. I'm going to add these fun little postage stamps that I got. They're like kind of antique-y. I have a bunch of Reset Girl stickers. I think these are from Discover. These are old school. Some here. I love a good circle sticker. These are the layering circles and what I call gumballs. And they're just super fun for this project. I was listening to some songs. I was putting together one of the playlists, the dance party playlist that you'll find in the media lounge, and now I have a bunch of songs stuck in my head from listening to it. Oh, the sacrifices I make for you girls. I want to sing out loud while I'm doing this, and I'm trying to control myself. Don't sing out loud, because I cannot sing a note. Not a note. Okay, so I'm looking through my little collection here. I got a lot of stickers. Actually, I think what I want to do is add some stamping. I got a lot of stamping. Okay, so these are from Elle Studio. I'm going to put a big old date on it. And it is July. Oop. Yeah, that's wrong. To do it backwards. July 2018. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this in here. So I'm just encouraging you right now in this moment. You see, I'm not doing anything super fancy. This is about having fun. And if you're going to like experiment and try new things and mess up, this is a really good place to do it, because this is just paper. It's just plain old copy paper. You know what I mean? It's not the really nice scrapbook paper you've been hoarding for a really nice project, the project of your dreams. It's not that paper. And if you mess up, you can just go and print out another sheet and replace it. That should take some of the anxiety away of trying something new. And I say that because I personally understand exactly what that feels like. That I feel like I can't see this stamp says it all. It says practicing imperfection. I just feel like sometimes I can't move forward because I'm so concerned about messing up the page. And it's funny because I feel like that's the thing that most women, it feels like they just see something pretty that they've made and then they go, I don't want to mess it up. Okay. I thought that was really funny when I made my mom, her Mother's Day gift was a traveler's notebook, and I set it all up for her to do listing in and about her faith life. And then the first thing she said when she saw it is, I don't want to mess up the pages. So I thought, see, even when someone's not like a crafter, they can still end up feeling that way, that somehow they're going to mess it up. Let's see. you know what? I am going to make this my number one answer for what self-care means to me. Right? I could not have planned that better if I tried. So, embracing imperfection. That's what self-care means to me. It means not punishing myself and rehearsing in my head a million different ways I should have handled that, done this, why did you do this? I am going to simply embrace the fact that I'm a human being who makes a lot of mistakes, as all of us do. And the more we move forward and learn from the mistakes, right, we're supposed to evolve and get better at it and make less of them. So hopefully we'll be mistake-free by the time we're in our 80s. So I've gotten a lot more on the page now. So this could be a point at which I stop and then I just, fill out all of my little lists here. But I really do love, I love embellishing. It's really who I am. So I'm not sure that I'm ready to just end it here. I feel like I have so much more to go. So I'm kind of taking it to the next level as we speak right now, which just goes to show you that, you can layer up as you get more comfortable, getting craftier and having more fun, that you can just evolve to the next step. As I'm going to cut up some of those pages that Corey gave me, like these. Look at all these fun. This is kind of like adding washi. If you don't have a lot of little craft supplies laying around, this is a great opportunity to just use the stuff I gave. This one says, enjoy the solitude. And these strips, the size of them, they're very similar to having washi. And washi is a lot easier to find. It's everywhere. It did not used to be that way. Before, when I first joined the planner community, it wasn't sold everywhere the way that it is now. Okay. Enjoy the solitude. So that could be something I add down here. Or if my list isn't super long, that could be something I just add to one of the pages to sort of like beef it up and add more. I like mixtures of things. I'm not trying to make things matchy-matchy. I absolutely struggle with matchy-matchy, and it's funny because I know a lot of women have to be matchy-matchy, or they can't. They can't handle it. And I don't like being matchy-matchy. I like being eclectic and everything's different. And that can even be true of creating your list. So for instance, you can put an object in your path and just pretend that it's not there and write right over it. And so it kind of blends into the background. So I'm going to show you. I actually will demo this list so that you can see what I mean. I have not done this in so long, you guys. I feel like, do I still have the listing touch? Okay, so let me just lay this down for you. And then what are my favorite self-care activities? Well, okay, so I'm going to say my favorite self-care activities, number one, is prayer. For sure. Prayer. I love book reading. See, this is the part where I stop and go, wow, maybe I don't self-care enough that I can even think of answers. And I think this is where all of us are going to get a little stuck. So that's okay. See, you're in good company. If you're watching this, I am demonstrating that yes, it is very easy to get stuck on your answers sometimes, especially when it comes to stuff like that. Because I'm like, what do I do that's self-caring? I do enjoy it. I'm not going to say that I like the results of it. Let's say that is I do like getting a mani-pedi, a massage. Those are fun to get if someone isn't knows what they're doing. Okay. I'm ashamed to admit this to all of you, but I'm going to say playing my video game. There's a video game that I love to play, and I'm going to add that. Never thought I would say that in all my life. I love playing a video game. Ooh. I love taking photos. So like a hobby. I love binge watching. I've been watching a lot of British shows lately. YouTube has really opened my eyes because there's so much entertainment on YouTube. It's not just people like me making goofy videos of themselves crafting or you know, putting makeup on or chopping up food. There's like so many different ways to get to binge watch things on Netflix. There's like legit TV shows you can watch on there. So I'm going to say that. One thing I watch a lot of on YouTube when I do that is like 48 Hours or Dateline. I'm running out of the self-care activities. I'm pretty limited in the things that I like, but I'm going to say like I do like my little my beauty treatment. I do on my face, doing that, and I do like doing a little foot treatment. Those are my favorite things because they're easy. You just put little fuzzy socks on and you're done. Okay, so that's what that would look like. So if I was just, you know, putting something down and then writing right over it, so it just sort of becomes part of the background. And then I kind of call it like creating a crafty speed bump. So it kind of, it either makes you write around it or over it. So it's like a little challenge that I've laid out for myself. What I've packed for Camp Reset is a new spa robe. Oh, my Lanta. You guys, my brain has just been, I'm going to share this with you just to show you how badly I need self-care right now. So I just went from 1 to 3. I thought that would give you a laugh. I can hear you laughing right now. Okay, let's try that again. This right here is like my favorite essential. I carry them in my purse. I carry them in all my little pencil pouches. It's a little mini correction tape. And you can I got these at Staples. They are the thing I reach for most of all, and I just demonstrated why. Okay. My beauty essentials, oils, and a diffuser. I'm going to try that out. I hope I like it. I'm looking over my shoulder at what I have over there on my bed. My journal, Kindle, headphones, iPod. Ooh, and I'm going to put books on here because I put some books in there. Okay, so there's that list. So as you can see, like some of these are going to be so simple, you could answer them in like less than a minute. Currently watching, reading, listening. So what I'm currently watching, my go-to watching that I do all the time, like I'm not a fan of the last season, so I can't say that I've even seen, I think I saw it all the way through for the first time a couple months ago, but The Office. I'll watch that thing over and over again. So The Office, and then I was watching Hell's Kitchen, but I was watching the UK version, which I've seen now a few times. Gordon Ramsay is a very different guy when he's not in the US version of his shows. Still a potty mouth, but he I don't know, he's a little more likable, I think. But I really enjoyed that series because it felt a little bit more like a documentary and not like this like crazy Fox TV show. So, and Project Runway. That's the other. I will watch all those seasons over and over again. I love that show. I've actually like crafting to it because it just makes me feel like I'm surrounding myself with creativity. And ever since Hulu started carrying most of the seasons now, I've enjoyed that. So that's what I actually have been watching. I've been listening to the Camp Reset playlists. Lots of like really like relaxing music, nature sounds. I even started a playlist for a dance party, so that's where my head's at now, but I've been enjoying listening to that. Reading, all I've been reading lately is the Bible. No time for anything else. See, now because I started those lists, now this is just coming easier. Okay, so I'm going to stop at that list. So there is a complete page of 4 lists that I just did in the course of this video. So you could see like that could be a 15 to 20 minute craft session right there. You could just do 4 at a time if you wanted to. And if you did 4 at a time, you would be done in 10 days over the course of 6 weeks. So that's just something to consider. Now, if you are a hardcore Listers Got a List girl, and I know that 2 of our most serious Listers Got a List fans are in Camp Reset, so their ears are probably perking up right now. This would be a really good way to kind of stretch out into just having a single list on one page. So you could, if some of them like really speak to you, then here would be a great time to kind of like add some more of that the fun element. So I'm going to actually punch a page of book copy, if I can get it into the punch. Okay, I did it. So I'm going to take out this piece because I actually want to decorate directly onto this piece. And this time I'm going to use my journal card in this little layout, and I'm going to use one of my fun little note papers here because I need some writing space. I bought this little notepad on Etsy from Katie at the Paper Basket, one of my favorite Etsy stores. And then I ended up just like tearing it all up to use it for projects like this. So I'm like, I didn't really need to buy a notepad. I didn't use it that way. So I want to get the most bang for my buck here. So I want to start it up kind of high like that. So I'm going to tack it down with a glue stick. So this, again, is if you want to be like a little bit more focused on like the crafting part of it, like the decorating, and you want to kind of like go all out. This is how you could just do one list at a time, like make them separate pages. And as I'm just showing you, you don't even have to use the pages that I provided because you could just start layering in other pages. You could layer in scrapbook paper, That's why I really feel like the disc bound and the binder will give you the most options to do stuff like that. If you want to start really turning this whole binder into this fun thing, which I really want that. I've always dreamed of having this really fun, having a fun project like this. So I'm going to take full advantage of it. And I want to just turn this into like one big kind of like part handbook, part junk journal. Okay, so I'm trying to pick some colors here. I'm gonna go with the blue and the pink, I think. Nope, I don't like that. I didn't like that the way I thought I would. So let's do 2 mappies. Okay, and ooh, this is exactly the right word. So this little card, excellent reminder. This is from Allie Edwards. I forget what this was from. It could have been the one little word roller stamp, and it says intentions, intentions. So I'm adding this, doing a gold foil heart, because gold foil, right? And then, well, I almost forgot that I have to do a list on this. I was getting so excited by the layering. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to actually list. Okay, hang on. Let's pause that for a moment and figure out what happened to my objective tonight. If money were no object, I would buy. That's worth a whole sheet. I think my dream job, the thing I would love doing more than anything else in the world, was being a philanthropist. I would love nothing more than to give away money to people who need it. Let me see here. So I'm going to do this as my example. I definitely like the punch better because you can. It really gets in there and gets that those little white pieces away. But I reached for this one first, so I'm gonna, let's see, pick a good place. And oh, and the other thing too is I don't even have to like, you don't even have to like put this on here. You could make it coming up off the top like that. Isn't that fun? And then if I wanted to, I could do a list on the back here and then put the other prompt up against that one. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just glue the lower half of this. Okay, there we go. If money were no object, I would buy. Paper that I added here is really cool for adding to. So I'm just going to start numbering it. It's got lines in it that make it really easy. So this would be something that I could continue adding to as time went on. You certainly don't feel like you have to finish it all at once. Sometimes some things you might want to think about for a moment. So I am looking for a self-care statement for this page, and this is the one. I don't have really any aspirations like to buy things for myself. I mean, I think in general things like I think a lot of us, if we had, you know, came into money, we would want to pay off debt, obviously. But I think that that's finding ways to bless others would definitely be the top of my list, because I don't know, that just sounds exactly the right thing to do. So there you go. So there's a fun little simple, this is not a super embellished-y kind of page either, but that's an example of if you wanted to kind of expand upon the list and you didn't want to just stick with that page, that you could do that. I have these fun little page flags. It's funny, when I first joined the planner community, I bought a bunch of these. I never used them, so I ended up giving them all away in this big clean out. And then just not too long ago, I bought a bunch of them all over again because I wanted to use them in my Bible. So I think it would be cute to add them here. This little girl has got looks like a shopping bag. I just think it would be cute to add them here. So I'm adding one here with a little page flaggy thing. Okay, so the back side, like I said, you could use for adding another list too, but that it would be an example of doing Lister's Got a List. And now I have like some fun pages to look at in my book, and it's getting me all using up my stash, reaching for things I have. You've been given all these fun little printables. So if you just want to use what I gave you, you just need some punches, or you don't need the punches. You could just totally just cut them out. I find paper cutting to be one of the most soothing things ever. In fact, I'm going to add that. That's going to be my number 10. Crafting and cutting. I love it. I really enjoy scissors. I do not like paper cutters. I struggle with them. They don't like me. I don't like them. So you have all this fun stuff that you can just add very simply into your work. So this is a example of, starting out simple with just the prompt and making a list, taking it up a notch by embellishing it, and then going more focused on one list at a time, and then using extra paper that you can add into. You could add smaller paper like this, like I showed you. You could add A5 paper that you've punched and added, or you can simply add a letter size paper like this. And as a matter of fact, they even make like a half letter size of the disc bound paper that's already punched. Let me see here. As an example, they make the little half letter size. So you could buy this too, and then add these pages and just sort of stagger them, like make the first page up top, and then when you add another one, add it down here. So you're not adding all the bulk in one spot. You're kind of evening it out across, if that makes sense. Because over the course of time, if you add a lot of it that way, then you're going to have this big chunk of paper in only one section of your planner. So the first sheet you would want to do up here, and then the next sheet you would want to do down here. So you're sort of spreading out the thickness, if that makes sense. So that's an option too, and that's an easy button. You can buy the half letter size disc bound paper on Amazon, where I always do my shopping, or you can just go to the actually, I'm not sure if Tulle is widely available on Amazon, and the one time I saw that they did have some stuff, they were really overpriced. So Tulle, this particular brand, is from Office Depot, but Staples, Office Depot, they both have their own like disc-bound brands, and Martha Stewart, which is sold at Staples, she has the half letter size, and you can find it on Amazon. So all good options, girls. So I hope that was helpful and inspiring and makes you excited to take up Listers again, or for the first time ever. I actually am really excited by this now. I'm ready to get my listing on. So I hope to see lots of listing spreads as we work through Camp Reset. Every Tuesday we'll be sharing in the group starting in week 2, I believe. I don't expect you guys to like do stuff like this right away. We're launching today. You're watching this video probably in your first week, so it launched on Saturday. Tuesday is just a few days away technically, so don't feel pressure to get this shared on Tuesday, but it will be something that I look forward to and hope that you do too. See you guys in the next video. Bye.